What's up, guys? Welcome back. It is Sunday morning, and we are jumping into a Superflex. This is the German Shepherd on Underdog. We got the 4 spot, so we actually might wind up without a quarterback in the first round. If Bijan goes here, I will take him above Drake May. I've done 2 of these so far. Both teams, I would say, were okay. These rooms tend to really favor quarterbacks through the first 2 rounds more than some other lobbies I'm used to, especially more than my home leagues. So even though we do play 2 quarterback, so that's something that I need to pay attention to and just understand a little bit better in the dynamic. So when we start Bijan Robinson here from 4, and again this is super flex, so you can start a quarterback in your super flex spot, which is why you see quarterbacks really heavily pushed in ADP here. When we start Bijan Robinson, we absolutely are looking at a quarterback at 21 and 28. Um, we're going to miss the first tier of guys, which actually I think Jackson and Allen aren't a tier by themselves. Then your next tier is like Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Caleb Williams, Justin Herbert. I kind of have them all in the same tier. You could make a case that Daniels, May, and Burrow are kind of in a tier 2. Like this is Allen and Jackson are S tier. Daniels, May, Burrow are kind of like A tier, and then I'd put the rest of the guys kind of in A minus tier. I have Williams above Hurts, Herbert above Hurts actually. Hurts about even with Prescott. So what we can look to get back is like a Brock Purdy, and then on the turnaround like a Bo Nix. We'll be at the 28, so Bo Nix probably won't fall that far, but we could still pick up like a Jared Goff or a Kyler Murray. Or, I mean, even to a lesser degree, a Stafford or a Love. I'm not super high on either of them at that point, but we might pivot back into running back and just punt, but we'll see how this goes. Okay, so like I was saying, you have 8 quarterbacks off in the first round, and now Lawrence coming off right here at the beginning of the second round. So we'll see what these quarterback drafters in round 1 here choose to do. If they're all interested in stacking, we're going to have very light quarterback value here, but that means it's even more important to get 2 of those guys. And when I say 2 of those guys, it's like 2 of the Brock Purdy down through Jordan Love sort of range. We can hope that some percentage of these folks right here are going to punt, because what I really like is a Prescott or a Purdy. I'd like one of those 2 guys. I think that we'd be in really good shape looking at one of those 2 guys. Prescott goes to the Burrow player. Hopefully Purdy wheels. I think there's a tier break after Purdy. I'm not super high on Bo Nix and Jared Goff. So that's just something to consider. Hopefully Daniel's player goes for Purdy there. So I don't. If we go Bo Nix here, we're leaving Amon-Ra, Cook, and Genti all on the table. And actually, as I look at it, I think this is really tough. I'm not a huge believer in Bo Nix. I'm going to take Genti here, and we're going to try to punt on QB and see what we can wind up with. Robinson, Genti, we just solidified what is easily going to be the best backfield, not close, in this lobby. So since it didn't start out with our ability to grab what, again, I think after your first, you got 8 in the first round and then another 5 here. That's your top 13, right? Purdy is kind of that tier break. Nix, Goff, Murray. We'll get one of these guys on the turnaround. I'm fine with any of them, to be honest with you. But after these guys start with 2 QBs, only a couple of them will take their third. So the Gibbs player decides to do the same and just stack Cook. We'll be interested to see what the Gibbs player does here on 26. But we certainly, when we do this, we certainly will grab 3 or 4 quarterbacks for this draft overall. Allen player grabs Stafford. We may be starting with like a Kyler Murray or a Goff or even a Mayfield. That's fine. We also could just take a Saquon Barkley and just have an insane sort of stat here, but we'll see how that goes. The Gibbs Cook player from the 2. Okay, so they go Allen, Stafford, Lamb. This is a half-point PPR, so there is still that consideration. Um, Gibbs Cook takes Nix there. Jackson, Amon-Ra. So we would get Goff or Kyler Murray. I think I'm a little lower on Kyler Murray. I say that, and Goff goes. We could also pull up Jordan Love. We could also just punt quarterback completely, but I don't think we want to do that. Let's go ahead and take Kyler Murray here. He's got tremendous upside in that offense, and we've got some good stacking options with him later. Jefferson goes off to the May player, so you've got May, Smith, and Jigba. Jefferson, okay, so this player out of the five decided to go Daniels, Purdy, Love. And just stack their quarterbacks. That is definitely one way to do this. Gibbs, Cook, Nix versus Robinson, Genty, Murray. I think I prefer the Gibbs, Cook, Nix stack there. Bro and Prescott pick up A.J. Brown. Chase and Dart now on the board. And it is weird to see, the Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Barkley in the third round, but that's how these drafts go when you have, 14 quarterbacks in the first two rounds and another four go off before halfway through round three, right? You've got 18 quarterbacks off the board, 19 now. So it's pretty wild. Sorry, 18, whatever it is. We're right there. Hurts, Shug with McCaffrey. Herbert, Mahomes. Like Shug this year. Like Love this year too. Picks up Mayfield. All right, so we're going to have Nuclear Squadouche as our quarterback too, which I say that, but we might be able to get like a Cam Ward or Daniel Jones, and I think both of those guys are just totally fine. Totally, totally fine, especially with our backfield here. So I don't think the Herbert Mahomes Mayfield player takes a fourth quarterback, but you do never know. We do have a consideration for the Chase player and the May player as they only have one quarterback. So should we fade quarterback? As I say, if we fade quarterback here, we'll probably have two more quarterbacks off the board, considering the Daniels Purdy Love player will not take a quarterback. So we're looking at Cam Ward or Daniel Jones. I'm okay with either of those. I think the upside's higher on Daniel Jones. And I like his stacking targets between Warren, Pierce, and Downs better than Cam Ward's, which is basically only Tate. Malik Willis goes here, which is interesting. The Drake May player probably grabs a quarterback. Okay, he just chooses not to. We are going to take a quarterback here because if we take like a Brock Bowers, Jeremiah Love, Brees Hall, Travis Etienne, we are going to be limited on what our quarterback situation looks like coming back. But we will get a really good positional player there below. So I'm going to take Daniel Jones. I think, yeah, he still has injury concerns, but think about the implication of what his ceiling looks like last year in that offense. And I know that it's going to be a different offense this year, but not that different. And if he's healthy or can find his health at the beginning part of the season, I think he could be a really good value pick there. All right, Brees Hall off the board there, which makes sense. Jackson Goff picks up St. Brown and Brees Hall. It's good. Gibbs, Cook, Nix, and McBride. It's pretty good as well. We can do either here. If Cam Ward's here, I'll probably grab him. I'm not going to grab Bryce Young, though. I'm not going to worry about Bryce Young. Uh, there's still really good value on the board here. I like Javonte Williams a lot. If he makes him back to us, that's a pretty devastating five stack there. Pickens goes to the Knicks player, so they're just going hero QB here with Knicks through five. So if the Jackson Golf player doesn't take Cam Ward, they take Javonte Williams. I'm going to take Cam Ward here. And we are good on quarterback. And actually, I feel great about this stack of three. Two of these three guys producing every week seems pretty reasonable. And we have Bijan Robinson and Ashton Genty. So we'll be drafting from the 69 spot down around here. You have two teams with three stacks of quarterbacks behind us. Sorry. Yeah, three teams with three stacks of quarterbacks behind us. Most teams with two. So you're probably going to see the positional runs start happening now, which is fine because this late in the draft in a super flex, you're still looking at great value at 69 and 76, which is where we'll be drafting from. So if you come down here to ADP at that 69 to 76 range, DeAndre Swift, Tyrone McMillan, Bucky Irvin, Quinshon Judkins, Travion Henderson, Wilson, McConkey, Ibuka. I'm happy with all these guys. Like all these guys at this value range. I think I'm a little higher on Ibuka than a couple of the others. I don't have a ton of Lad. I need to grab more of him. DeAndre Swift is good. If he makes it there, I don't think T's going to make it back to us. But he's a good consideration as well. So is Tet. I like Quinshon Judkins. These are all guys I like a lot. And because we have three quarterbacks now, we'll get two of those guys. We're going to get two great positional players here to stack with Bijan and Genty. And again, we don't have any, I would say, like blue chip quarterbacks, but we have three very serviceable quarterbacks. We have three quarterbacks, I think, that from a week to week basis can be inside the top 10 for that week. And that's fine. If two of them show up to the party each week, it doesn't matter what two in best ball, we're in great shape. Especially with Bijan and Genti as a backfield. This is a great start. Kind of got a gift here, Ward falling backwards to stack with Jones and Murray. Okay, so then again we have all the positional values starting to come off the board. Now our dart player grabbed Rogers. Then you have Nitro Collins, Rashi Rice, Devontae Smith, Jacobs, Montgomery, Mendoza sneaks in there. Irving, Olave, Neighbors, Higgins, Flowers. So as it gets to us, Cam Stadaboo. I've got a ton of him. Well, he goes there. I've got a ton of him, like a literal ton of him. I think here we're going to go with Quishon Jawkins. I'm super high on him this year. And then we'll get Edbuka, McConkey, or Tetaroa to start our wide receiver room. But I am high on Jawkins this year. This works out really well as a start. And now we can just start hammering wide receiver for the day is long. So Jackson and Goff picked up Geno Smith late. So they've got the Jets correlation here. They've got AJ Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown with Goff, so that's a nice little stat there. Again, Knicks player just sticking to his guns. I don't know who he's going for later, but presumably somebody. But I mean, look at this team: Gibbs, Cook, Nix, McBride, Pickens, McMillan. I mean, this is insanity, right? He's got an insane roster, but he only has one quarterback. So, Allen Stafford player has Lamb, Kyron, Loveland, and Garrett Wilson. Good, but light at running back. Very light at running back. I liked our running back room the best out of the entire lobby. Hampton, Jacobs, Montgomery's not bad either, and they do have a Nakua to go with Lawrence and Darnold, but I like our quarterback stack better than just Lawrence and Darnold. Lawrence is the best piece, but I like our quarterback stack. I like our backfield better than anyone's. Not even close. So, okay, the receivers I kind of all wanted went through there, but I'm not gonna pass on receiver here. We already have a good running back start. I guess we're just gonna look at Mike Evans. He probably stores 8 to 12 touchdowns this year. It's not the where you necessarily want to start, but it's a fine starting place for a wide receiver room. We'll then be drafting from the 93 and 100. I like this right here. I like Love at that value, I suppose, but I like Statabu and Tootin to pair up with Daniels, Purdy, and Love. This is a good team. This is actually a great team right here. 93 and 100 will be where we are drafting from. And if we go down here to look at 93 to 100, we'll get Colonel Tate, hopefully to stack with our buddy Cam Ward. Maybe a Dunze Falls. I doubt it. Um, we're probably pass on Dowdle there. I like Jordan Tyson a lot. Um, yeah, Kraft isn't bad. So some smattering of these guys. Dobbs, and then we get down into that Pierce range, but that's a little bit. That's we'd be pulling up him just quite a bit there. I think a little higher on downs. So now we have that tertiary tier of running backs just run off the board here with Tootin, Swift, Price, Henderson, Pollard. In reflection, maybe I take Ibuka here because I'm higher on him, and we still would have wound up with Tootin, Swift, Price, something like that. If we take Ibuka here, we still wind up with one of these guys as our third running back, and I suppose that's okay. And I'm higher out of this entire group of six wide receivers. I'm highest on Ibuka and McLaurin, so maybe that Judkins pick was a little aggressive. Burden winds up to the Williams player. So this player here at 11 has Williams, Stroud, and Mendoza, Taylor and Henry, Devontae, Burden, and Williams. This is a really good construction. Really, really good construction out of 11. Herbert, Mahomes, Mayfield winds up with Walker, Irving, Pollard, and Rice like that. I mean, again, we have a super, super sort of blue chip backfield here. Arguably, you know, the number two, and I think Genti's probably the number 4 or 5 running back at the end of the season. So we're right in that range where Dunze typically goes. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Dunze go off the board somewhere in here, which means we won't get him, which is totally fine. We'll just reach down and grab up Tate if he makes it. If a Dunze makes it back to us, I know you do want stacks, but I'm pretty happy to grab a Dunze. There's a lot of receivers behind us, and I'm not sure that anybody's going to be as high on Tate. So there's a chance potentially we will him. This gentleman right here needs receivers really badly as well, so he'll probably take Adunze if I had to guess, which is fine because then we will just take the stack. He takes Stevenson, so okay, we're gonna grab Ruben Adunze. I know we're passing on the stack with Tate, but maybe I think there's a good chance we get one of these folks back, and I'm actually happy with all of them, including Tucker Craft. I think Tucker Craft is going to be great this year. Warren goes right after us. We could have gotten the stack with Daniel Jones, I suppose. So maybe we kind of missed on that, but not like super high. And that doesn't have to be a thing. Like could be a thing, but it doesn't have to be a thing. Where's Addison? So Addison's ADP is 124. Let's see where we're drafting. Like, yeah, we're right on ADP for Addison with Murray. I like that. Definitely going to be looking to snap that. DJ Moore, Hubbard, the Allen player gets sniped on Moore by one pick. All right, they pick up Hubbard and Dobbins to go with Kyron. I like that. Lamb, Wilson, McLaurin. Don't mind the this is a pretty good team out of team one here. So across the lobby, some pretty decent constructions here. Some pretty decent constructions indeed. Gibbs, Cook, Nix, McBride, Pickens, McMillan, McConkey, DJ Moore, and Deshaun Watson. Okay. So we just need the Warren player to fade Tate, and we got him. So that's pretty awesome value fall there. So Evans Adunze Tate catches us up really nicely at our wide receiver room. Yes, it's not in Jigba, Jefferson, Flowers, but remember we've got Bijan Robinson and Ashton Genty, and Junkins to boot. So at 117, 124, again we're not going to get these guys back. That's a pipe dream, but I will be looking at Addison. Absolutely. Um, I like Portland Sutton. I like Jaden Reed. I like Quentin Johnson. I have a ton of Johnson this year, so all those guys are good. Kittle's whatever. I guess, maybe we could consider Kittle. Alec Pierce probably won't make it back to us, but with the injury news with him, I'm a little lower on him. A little higher on Josh Downs right now. All right, so the Dart Rogers player who grabs Drake London, then stacks two on Penix. That's actually pretty smart. So they've just got all of Atlanta's production. Dart stacked with Neighbors, all of Atlanta stacked with London, Jamar Chase, Barkley, and Price. Pretty good team. Think they're obviously weak at running back, but they'll look to obviously shore that up as they progress. Harvey and Menungai off the board. This is the range. This is what happens. You got that Dowdle, Corum, Harvey, Menungai, Brooks sort of range. Nakua goes back to wide receiver finally with Waddles, Thomas, and Tyson, and has Thomas stacked with Trevor Lawrence. They've only got Trevor Lawrence and Sam Darnold, but they do have a decent backfield with Amari Hampton, Josh Jacobs, and David Montgomery. Quentin Johnson goes off the board. Yeah, we didn't think he would fall. Um, McKay Lemon, I'm a little lower on him unless you have Jalen Hurts, which we don't. These running backs are fine, but I think we're okay on running back now. I think we grab one of the receivers we want, and then if one of the running backs comes back, cool. If not, maybe we can pick up yeah, I don't love any of these tight ends either. Like these tight ends are all just the same to me. So, but I think we want to grab the running back we want on the way through. So we'll kind of see how that goes. And if we have our pick right now, I probably pull up Addison for the stack, and then I'll just deal with if we get Downs or whoever on the back stat. That's fine. Gainwell, Rashad Wright, Aaron Jones, they're all fine. They're all serviceable. Okay, so we're on the board. We do get Addison. That's really cool. So we've got Tate stacked with Ward now. Jordan Addison stacked in with Murray. Feels pretty good. We might be able to get a stack right now with Jones, with Josh Downs. Pierce is still on the board. I also like Gainwell and Rashad White. There is kind of a tier break at running back there. We could grab our fourth running back here. You only do start two receivers in this format, so that is something to consider. Of these running backs, though, Gainwell and Rashad White are kind of the same. So I don't really have a preference on either. Looks like the wide receivers we were looking at, Downs and Pierce, both go off the board here. So I guess if Gainwell makes it back to us, we could grab him. DK Metcalf and Michael Wilson are okay, but I think I like Gainwell better than both of them. Don't want Travis Kelce. Godwin could be a consideration, but I think we can take Gainwell here. I think picking up our fourth running back is pretty solid. And now we have a really balanced instruction with Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, Cam Ward, Bijan Robinson, Ashton Jeanty, Judkins, and Gainwell, Evans, Adunze, Tate, and Addison. As it comes back around to us, we'll be drafting 142, 141, 148. So we'll be looking at Wandell, Goddard, Dobbs, Concepcion, Khalil, Woody Marks, like all these guys. They're all fine. Guess Chid is in that range kind of too. Yeah, these guys are all serviceable. Um, yeah. Doesn't look like we're gonna get. We could look to target Hawkinson later to grab him. So he's at 169. We'll just throw him up there. Um, we have to pull him up to 165 probably. That's not the end of the world. Where does Kincaid go? He's somebody I want to start drafting a little bit more. He's at 136. I don't think we're going to get Kincaid. He'd have to fall to us at 141, but we could pick him up there. He definitely won't make that. Definitely shouldn't make it back around to the Allen player. Would probably want to stack him with Loveland and call it a day down there. So Trevor Lawrence, Sam Darnold winds up with Shador Sanders back here, which is just okay. Just okay. I'm happy with our running back room. Super happy with the running back room. Relatively happy with the wide receiving room, all things considered. We didn't take our first wide receiver till seven, and we have a good stack of guys. Although I tend to have the Adunze, Tate, Addison, Evans stack and put a boot on there. I tend to take a lot of these guys. So this looks like all right. Kincaid goes up here. It looks like one of our wide receiver rooms, especially because I huge on running backs in the second and third round. Parasol's a guy I'm interested in if he slides. Golden's a guy I'm interested in if he slides. Rodriguez is fine, but he's not going to slide that far. Don't have a ton of Wandal, and I guess with uh, our buddy there, we should look to stack him. Don't have a ton of them at all, actually. And I think we're right on ADP, and we do have Cam Ward, so yes, that is a consideration. We should get him. And then on the turnaround, we take like I don't know, Concepcion maybe, Dobbs. Don't think I'm gonna pull up like Higgins or any of those guys. All right, I don't. I have way more golden than Wandell Robinson, but let's grab Wandell because of the stack, and then we'll get one of these guys. We're not going to take Hodgson up here. We'll get one of these guys on the wheel. I don't. I'm kind of equal on them. Yeah, Woody Marks is fine, but I'm happy with our four running backs for now. So I think yeah, all these guys are fine. I don't think I have any Keaton Mitchell this year. Quarterback wise, if we did want to take a fourth, there's like back to McCarthy. I guess we could take McCarthy, but I think if our team has to start McCarthy, we're not happy about it. I'm not worried about Anthony Richardson. Like I think I'm just happy with the three that I have, and we go from there. At the very, very end, if we wanted to like stuff a Richardson and McCarthy in there, that's fine. But I think if these guys aren't achieving their potential, this draft is just sunk. So I don't think like handcuffing a Jones or a Murray with a very underwhelming backup is I don't think where you want to be at all. All right, Shakir Golden and Dobbs all go off the board. So I'm not going to reach up on Hawkinson. All these guys are kind of the same. Let's grab Gatson. I don't have a ton of him. I guess maybe Tyler Algier was someone to reach on, but we need a tight end anyway, and we'll get Hawkinson in this range also, hopefully. And then we're in pretty good shape there, and then we're not doing the typical garbage tight end crawl at the end. So 165, 172. If I look down there for where we're at, Tyler Algier almost certainly won't wheel. Spears probably is an option. So does Charbonnet. Jonah Coleman. Don't want Hunter. Don't really want a Mark Cooper. Yep, and then Hawkinson is the other option. Dylan Sampson's fine too. So we'll probably grab um, running back and get a second tight end here. And There's also Gunnar Helm as a consideration. Where's his ADP? He's at 181. So if we don't take him in this run right here, he probably doesn't fall. We'll just see what happens, but we'll grab one of our stacks and one of these running backs, and we'll be well on our way. That'll still leave us room to grab at least probably two more receivers. With with the way we started off with Bijan and Genti, I feel pretty good after you pick up like a Judkins and a Gainwell that we have what we need in the running back sort of arena. Now you do get 20 draft slots instead of 18 in these drafts. So there are other just random RBs we can stuff into our lineup later. It looks like we're going to get one of these running backs plus Hawkinson on this run. So we're not going to probably grab Gunnar Helm. Maybe Hawkinson has one more year left in him. He's been phenomenal in the past, and he really fell off last year. So I guess we'll see. Schultz, Charbonnet goes. I don't think Algiers going to fall. Although I will say that the player beside us has Love, Statabu, Tootin, Ramondre, and Dowdle. So they just kind of ate each one of their foods at once. They went three quarterbacks, picked up Brett Bowers, went five running backs, and is now just slamming wide receivers. So I guess they're just kind of doing that. So we might get Tyler Algier to follow us, which is freaking phenomenal. I think he's going to have weeks where he just gets you a touchdown plus 40 yards or gets you two touchdowns and 20 something yards and is just going to be kind of really serviceable from that backfield, um, more so than paying love prices. And then we'll get one of our tight ends right here, Hawkinson or Gunnar Helm. Happy with either. Algier's a great addition to Robinson, Judkins, Gainwell. Yeah, our quarterback room is okay because we have three of them. Again, we're just looking for any two of these guys to show up with 25, 24 points for the week and just feel good about it. Like, any two. Doesn't make any difference. We don't care. I mean, candidly, they're stacking up with our guys, but we don't really give a darn. Just two guys show up to the party. All right, Hawkinson goes there. Gunnar Helm is at 181 ADP. There is some interesting wide receivers here. There is a Jawan Jennings that we could look to grab. There's also some good running back value here too, but I think I'm pretty in on grabbing another tight end here. That being said, Gunnar Helm might wheel. He tends to do that sometimes. So we grabbed Algier. We could grab Dylan Sampson. We could grab Jawan Jennings. You know what? Let's go ahead and grab Samson. Maybe Helm wheels. I was in for taking a tight end, but with Algier and Sampson, I think we can just be done at running back now. Now we've got Robinson, Genty, Judkins, Gainwell, Algier, Sampson. So we can just be kind of done there. And then, yeah, okay, Gunnar Helm might not wheel. That's totally fine. But we got Gatson, so we have at least a decent one. Yeah, he goes right after. That's fine. We'll just pick up whatever tight ends. We do this. This is how we do, right? We just take whatever tight ends. I'm cool with that. So we'll get whichever tight ends come to us. That's totally fine. And we kind of have everything we need. Obviously, we need a couple more tight ends and a couple more wide receivers, right? And then we can have one more of anything. So whether it be a running back or a wide receiver, it doesn't really matter. We'll be drafting from the 189 and the 196. So I think we do want to grab another tight end in here. They're all kind of the same. It doesn't really make any difference at this point. Um, do we have a preference? I have a ton of Diseki. I really do. It's so funny. I have so much of this guy. None of these guys are really stacked. Guess yeah, we'll take whoever. I don't really care. None of this makes a difference to me. And then we'll look to grab on the turnaround here at 196. Well, I don't think Juwan Jennings is going to follow, but we'll see if he does. I like Ray Davis also. For wide receivers, Bernard's fine. Branch is fine. Dontavian Wicks is fine. They're all kind of fine. Trey Tucker probably won't fall down here, but we'll see. Okay, get a run on them. So do we get Tucker? You know what? I'll take him. Top ADP. Feels good. And then we'll grab one of these tight ends on the way around. I don't care. Does not matter which one. It's interesting if we did pick up Tucker, then we just have Gainwell and Tucker, and we're just kind of getting any production that's not Bucky Irving. So if Sean Tucker falls here, I know we said we're done at running back, but we could look to do that. Could absolutely look to do that. Then all these tight ends are the same. They don't matter at this point. So I don't think he'll fall, but if he does, that is something we can absolutely do. Jonathan, Siddleton, Burks. Okay. So Alan Stafford is just sticking with Alan Stafford. That's all they're doing. I guess that's fine when you don't double QB up top. Totally fine. I thought Allen was retiring. I might be wrong about that, or maybe I guess it's not for sure. All right, yeah, dude, I'll take Sean Tucker. He falls to us there. We will take him. Feel pretty good about that. And now we just have all of the production out of that backfield except for Bucky Irvin, who might start the season slightly hurt. So feels good there. Okay, we got 3 picks left. We definitely need 2 tight ends. So we'll play the normal game. If you guys watch me draft, you know what game I'm playing, which is insert your tight ends here. We do have 7 running backs, so we are going to pick up another receiver. And of these guys, I don't really care. Tank Dell, I suppose. Um, I have no Cooper Cup, so maybe we just take him. Uh, Tyreek Hill is probably going to play this year. Where and how well, I don't know, but it's a consideration. I don't think I have him on any team, so taking him on one is probably not the end of the world. Wait a minute. Am I confused? I am confused. That's not Allen. That's a different Allen. Who knew? I'm not familiar with this Allen. Okay, as it rolls back to us, we have the smattering of these tight ends. Did Gesicki go? Dude, you know you're in trouble when Gesicki's off the board before you get your second tight end. Yeah, so maybe that's my weak spot in these drafts is I need to take more tight ends, or I need to prioritize. Like here, if we don't take a Dunze and we take Warren, then we're just done after we take Yatson. It's probably the right move. Overall, though, pretty happy with this draft. Probably the best one I've done so far. Also considering that we passed on quarterback for the first 2 rounds. Robinson Genti is a pretty devastating backfield to be paired up with what is a really respectable team across the board otherwise. So I think that's a pretty good start. Here, I guess we just take whoever. Uh, guess we'll take Jeremy Bernard, and then again, we're just on the tight end train for the rest of the time. Tondas, all these guys. Doesn't matter. Doesn't make any difference. Wait, so our team wound up Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, Cam Ward. If Kyler Murray has a top 10 season, this team is going to do very well. Robinson, Genty, Judkins, Gainwell, Algier, Sampson in the backfield. Evans, Adunze, Tate, Addison, Wandale Robinson, Tucker, Bernard as our wide receiving core, considering we didn't get a wide receiver until round 7. Pretty happy with the way that turned out. And then Aronde gets in +2 of this smattering of tight ends here at the back, which is fine. Totally fine. Here, Mariota's off the board. Take Stowers, I guess. Don't care. And then we'll get one of these guys on the turnaround. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate the. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the like and subscribe button, and we will see you in the next one.